So when you're talking about risk profile, is it because you were talking about being an early stage versus later stage, and then we talked about the different industries. Do you think it's the risk profile that kind of determines everything? Because obviously, if you have a higher risk profile, you're probably more comfortable with early. If you're lower risk, you're probably with later. If you're higher risk, you're probably with a .com type thing. If you're lower risk, you're probably with something more real estatey.
Right.
Like, is that safe to just make a bold statement? It's like, hey, your risk tolerance affects your trajectory of this business.
Yeah, and then things change. Like, look at real estate is a great sector. Real estate, until the interest rate environment changed, was supposedly kind of the best place to invest in terms of kind of lower risk strategies. But in the last 2 years, the real estate sector has been significantly impacted in a negative way. So it's no longer kind of the obvious place. Now, there's still certain sectors in real estate that do well, but let's say, like office space, for example, post-COVID got really hit, and it still hasn't recovered.
But like warehouses, I think last time I checked was like less than a 2% vacancy rate in Dallas.
Yes, that's driven by the kind of the growth of AI is actually directly impacting that, because you're needing more capacity, server capacity to meet the demand, right? Yeah. So, and then we're hoping. This AI. I don't know if it's a bubble, but there's definitely going to be a correction. But it's not going away. I think AI is definitely the next disruptive
Well, that's one of the jokes a friend of mine was saying is like, because we're working on an AI product ourselves for the video world, but he's like, just change the name of your company, slap AI to the back end, and raise 10 million.
Yeah.
And he wasn't kidding, because it is very. I was not old enough to be like an investor or be too knowledgeable, but I was old enough to be somewhat of an adult during the .com boom, where just people were raising so much capital just because they put .com.
Yeah.
So it kind of feels like that.
It is. We're in a bubble a little bit. You're right, because you didn't do it, but a lot of other companies are doing it. They probably have. They don't really have an AI platform, but they have a
Slap
AI,
yeah.
And you're getting investors' attention immediately. Now the sophisticated investors will figure out that you're not a true AI platform, but a lot of them won't, and they'll just bet on you eventually becoming an AI platform if you're not already. But I think AI it's pretty amazing what's happening in the space. Every industry is going to get impacted. Every industry has to have a plan on how to really to move into the age of AI. And it differs, right? It could be. I'll give you an example of how people are thinking about AI right now. We're in a very short time. We're going to have AI agents that will manage our lives or manage our businesses too. Even to a point where you might have an AI agent on your board, if you think about it, on your business, right? You can program the AI, feed it with all the criteria that you would expect from a sophisticated investor that understands your space. And they could provide very kind of objective feedback.
Well, you could even, not to interrupt your flow, but you could even say, act like a Bill Gates, act like a Warren Buffett,
exactly.
A Charlie Munger. You're like, hey, or you can, I want to build a super investor where it's aggregate the best qualities of these people, put them together, and you be a board member.
Yeah, and there's a few groups out there that already have an AI agent on their board, or at least maybe on their IC committee, let's say. But
IC being?
Investment committee.
Got it.
So typically, like if you have an investment firm, it could be any type of investment firm. Typically, you have an IC committee internally that vets opportunities as they come in, and you kind of make a decision as a group, almost like a board, but focused on the deal flow and the investment decisions. So yeah, so AI agents are going to be everywhere. And the interesting part, I heard a speaker, forgot his name, but he was saying that the one industry that's going to be impacted the most is search engines. Because you won't need to go on to Google or Yahoo and search, and which means there's no value in customers paying for ads. Because if your AI agent's going to do it all for you, they're going to go and
there
search.
won't be human eyes on it.
And then by an AI agent going and doing all the work for you, the AI agent's not going to be targeted with ads. They're doing everything behind the scenes. So that's interesting because it makes sense once you hear it that like search engines are going to be impacted.
But at the same time, there's still so much hallucination from the AI. It's like, how long does it take for that to clear up?
Yeah.
It's moving pretty fast.
Yeah.
Very fast. So from an investment standpoint, thinking of AI, there's all sorts of new investment media that's being created, and Bitcoin is close to $100,000. Doge coin, which was I think a joke. How is this enormous? It's more valuable than Ford Motor Company.
Yeah.
So how does Legacy Knight view? Though I don't even know if you'd call them an asset class of digital currencies, or what?
It's like the crypto, like cryptocurrencies as a class. It's kind of high risk, high return.
Yeah.
And now I think like some investors that want to make a bet on crypto, but in a more, let's say, conservative approach, they're holding Bitcoin on their balance sheet.
Yeah.
Right. Bitcoin has really been through a lot of the through time so far has proven to be. It is kind of volatile. We've seen it go up and down a lot, but to a certain degree, we've seen like the floor. And I think the way it's set up with kind of the halving milestones that it has, and the fact that it has gained a lot of credibility, and because of the investors that are holding Bitcoin, you're seeing more institutional investors hold Bitcoin. So I don't think Bitcoin is going to go away. If you want to bet on crypto, that's probably the best
I think
one
it's the
to
only
bet
one.
on. It's the only one.
Well,
the other ones, I don't know. I'm not an expert on them to really say, but Bitcoin, I've seen sophisticated investors hold Bitcoin on their balance sheet.
when it comes to Bitcoin, like one of my favorite things about being a media company is just because we're industry agnostic, we touch a lot of different industries. And one of our clients is a Bitcoin miner. One of our former clients is the Texas Blockchain Council, which is the nonprofit that interfaces with policymakers. And once you see the infrastructure, like the billions and billions of dollars that are going into energy in the data centers, and you're just like, oh, this is a real thing. But like the cryptos, like to me, I would be very skeptical of those because those are the pump and dumps. And I mean, literally, I think 2 weeks ago, maybe a month ago, there was a 16-year-old on a live stream, made a crypto, made $30,000 on live stream, and then killed it and rug pulled. And it's just like, on one hand, what stupid idiots are investing in this. On the other hand, what stupid idiot would do it online on a live stream for the world to see you? Because I don't know if he's going to jail at 16 or whatever he is, but that's not a good look. But the infrastructure side of it is fascinating to see, and just seeing the Senator Cruz's and now President Trump and all these policymakers jump on board on that is fascinating to watch from the sidelines.
Yeah, it's the new digital gold right now. It's fascinating space. It's not. I think it's more in terms of it holds value similar to gold versus kind of a currency. And that's what makes it different than all the other cryptos. So we'll see, but you never know. I mean, government regulations could impact it, right? You could have, a government could have their own version of Bitcoin, and that would definitely impact to some degree.